All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for clicking on my video tonight. This will be a special Sunday edition of the Unique Trading Group. All right, a special Sunday edition. All right, the mid-year rally 2025. All right, how smart money is positioning right now. This will be the topic of today. Okay, again, I am Coach UV, your trading mentor and coach, and I'm represented by the Unique Trading Group, where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. And tonight we're going to be diving into some very, very specifics, showing you some guidance, what I see on the broader market. All right. So I hope that after this video, you'll be in a better place after watching this video to be prepared for next week, because I do see some juicy setups and a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines. But because you chose to click this video tonight, or whenever you decided to, there will be some value, something that you could take with you next week and the rest of this year. But before we go any further, I just want to say to those who are watching my channel, thank you so much for your dedication to watching, to liking, and subscribing to my channel. We are almost at 500 subscribers, guys. We've been doing really, really good, and we're going to keep the ball rolling. I want people to understand trading. I want them to understand that this could be a business. I want them to see that this can be consistent, right? And so if you're new, if you're immediate, if you're advanced, if this is your first time watching, whether you've been watching me since last year or you joined my Discord, YouTube lets me know that there's 59% of my watchers who are not subscribed. So yes, if that is you, if you're watching this and you're getting ready for this juicy information I'm going to give you, okay? Because you can make money from this very information that I give out. 59% of my subscribers, 59% of my viewers are not subscribers. So guys, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification so that you're verified when I drop valuable videos, and hit the like button if I show value, all right? It helps the algorithm go to people who find these type of topics interesting, all right? So we're going to go ahead and take a small break, all right? And we'll be back after the commercial break. All right, now we're back. First, I'm going to show you this video that I posted 2 weeks ago inside of my Discord community and inside the YouTube. All right, this was the setup before the squeeze. The setup before the squeeze. Volatility rising into quad witching. All right, now I predicted that we would have these parabolic moves. Okay, and so I prepared the group 2 weeks ahead of time. This is the accuracy that you get rocking with the channel. Okay, this is 8+ years of experience crammed into some series. All right, and so I have a bunch of mindset stuff and a bunch of psychology stuff, and also for the beginners. So check out that link below in the description. Make sure you subscribe, and we're gonna get the ball rolling. So now let's get this party started. This is a recap, a receipt video before we get into the meat of the video. All right, hope you guys enjoying so far. All right, let's get into the video. All right, as follows: 6'5", 6'10", all right, 6'11", okay. Strong demand is at 683, all right. If we open above 599.14 and stay above it convincingly, I am looking bullish. That is my edge. Price opening above a previous candle, okay. That's what I want to look for. Take a picture of this and screenshot that. Above 600, I want to take calls. 683 is precisely. I want to take calls above to 603, 605, and 611. But I want to secure profits. Even though I'm giving these targets, that don't mean hold. Always monitor your trade, all right? And that brings me to an interesting subject, all right? The trader's creed. I am a consistent winner because I objectively identify my edges. I predefine the risk of every trade. I completely accept the risk where I'm willing to let go of the trade. I act on my edges without hesitation or reservation. I pay myself as the market makes money available to me. I continually monitor my susceptibility for making errors. I understand the absolute necessity of these principles of a consistent success, and therefore I never violate them. All right, now that was my recap video for 2 weeks ago. Well, I gave out some guidance on price action on SPY and a trader's creed. All right, that trader's creed is from Mark Douglas. I added it into my Discord because I wanted it to be part of my trading plan. All right, I look at this every day before I trade. It's always in the back of my mind. and it helps you as you become more serious about trading. Okay, trading is about the process, all right, not the profits. It is all about the process. And once you get your process together, all right, your emotions, your discipline, your patience, your mechanical skills, understanding that you need to adapt. You need to adapt when you're trading, even if your bias is to the downside on the stock, all right. If it starts going to the upside, you got to be able to have that mental toughness and that ability to switch your bias so that you can make money accordingly, okay, and always protect your money, all right? Never blindly get into a trade without understanding the risk, okay? Without understanding the risk. Now, this is your mid-year week, all right? Your mid-year of this whole year, 2025, okay? And so I think we're going to be rallying. We're going to be rallying, okay, guys? Just take a quick look here at the monthly time frame on SPY, okay? This is what we see on SPY. And you take a look at this chart and you tell me how bearish that this chart looks, okay? You tell me how bearish this chart looks, okay? I don't see a bearish chart. Could we be possibly overextended? That's a possibility. The reason why we might be pulling back a little bit post-market. You know, the market is closed, but this is a Sunday edition. So I'm getting you prepared for next week. And so let's hop into the subject in the meat of what I'm saying. We have higher highs on a weekly time frame. All right, very simple in nature. Okay, if you've been rocking with me for a while, you've been a part of the Discord, you understand one of my edges is understanding higher time frame continuity. Whenever the higher time frame, when that's showing me bullish momentum and we've closing and broken certain candles, right? For example, this candle here, all right, it broke this range right here. All right, this candle broke this range on this 1 hour time frame, and ever since we got that open range breakout, all right, we went from 608 to 613, 616, okay? And so I look for that on a higher time frame to give me my momentum and my bias. As long as I have higher highs and higher lows on a higher time frame, then I'm going to be prone to buy the dip, okay? If this is your first time watching and you don't understand higher lows, all right, this is a quick example of what that means, all right? You see that pattern here. You have a series of higher highs and higher lows, and so you can continue to the upside. It's a step ladder, okay? Without getting all technical, it's just a step ladder. And we have higher lows being formed right now on the SPY intraday time frame and on the hour, okay? And so I am bullish for this market rally, and I'm going to explain to you why. The way that you should be thinking about this market is very intuitive and very technical and mechanical, all right? There are a lot of headwinds coming in next week, all right? A lot of data coming in, heavy data, but not to worry, all right? You're rocking with Coach UV, and get ready to take your notes and get your mindset together, because the next couple of statements that I'm getting ready to make to you is going to make or break your week for next week, all right? And so if you've been sticking with me this far, I appreciate it, okay? So this is what I want you to think about, okay? It's a mid-year rally, all right? A mid-year rally. It's 2025. It's very timely. It's 6 months in, okay? That's what the mid-year is. 6 months out of the 12. All right, the smart money, they're positioning, all right, they're positioning, all right, that's your trading language, all right, and right now is your urgency, all right. So this is what you need to be thinking about, all right. You've been watching the headlines, you've been watching rate cuts, all right, you've been watching these things, okay, you've been watching these things, but however, AI hype, the markets, they really look stalled out right now, okay? They really look stalled out right now. And the fact of the matter is, that's just noise, all right? But behind the noise is a powerful pattern that's been forming. A powerful pattern has been forming, all right? And that video I previewed, all right, the squeeze, the setup before the squeeze, it's been playing out this whole time. It's been playing out this whole time, all right? And so this mid-year rally in the smart money has already been moving, okay? Now, if you just been following along, cool, you're with me, you're up to date. But if you did miss out, right, this is what most people miss, and I hope you're listening, all right? Every year around June and July, retail traders, they check out, okay? It's low volume, all right? Summer distractions, nobody's paying attention. That's exactly when capital rotates, okay? Institutions, they quietly shift sectors. They accumulate positions while retail sleeps. This is their job. This is what they do. All right. It's not hype. All right. It's seasonality and strategy. And I'm trying to introduce that to you guys. All right. So, and it's playing out right now, actually, on SPY. It's playing out right now on SPY. If you check out the charts, we've been buying the dip. We've been constantly going high. You can look on the higher time frame, the monthly and or the weekly. Okay, clearly we are higher. All right. All right. We had to break that barrier of 600 and we broke it. All right. So now it's time to get into position. All right. So if you missed that January run, if you missed the AI run, all right, or you sat out doing the April chop, the April drop, this is your window. This video is for you. The rally will not continue if the rally will not continue if you're chasing. If you're late for the move, it's not going to continue. This is human psychology. I suggest waiting for a pullback next week around economic data, Monday and or Tuesday. If you're swing trading, you want to get a good price, a good value. And $600 is the line in the sand. Could we get some economic headwind that pushes back? Absolutely, we could break trend, all right? Absolutely, we could break trend. But that trend and that scenario is going to be set up around the closing of the monthly candle. All right, and we have the 4th of July catalyst inside of this mid-year 2025 rally that I'm speaking about. Okay, so anything is possible, but you want to wait for pullbacks and you want to get a good price before you want to try to trade towards the upside is what I'm saying to you. Okay, so now the rally won't feel bullish at first. All right, it never does. All right, but that's why it catches people off guard. There were a lot of people inside of discussion groups and Discord groups and little live Zoom links. They're all focusing on a bunch of different tickers and a bunch of different mentors. Me being in the game so long, I understand how that hurt me. And so I vowed to give a voice and to speak to these type of things, because when you're planned, when you're properly prepared, it really does prevent poor performance. And because I've been seeing things so long on these screens, I kind of can pinpoint them out based on the pattern. And I'm giving it to you guys to be prepared the same way I've been doing for the past year, preparing you so that you can celebrate with me on this journey. Okay. So I think that the price is already priced in. Okay. So ask yourself a question. Are you still chasing the headlines? Are you tracking the real capital flow? Because smart money is, all right? They're not chasing, they're positioning, guys. They are positioning. And so I want to break something down for you, all right? I want to give you something really, really good as I'm talking to you, all right? It's going to be rally, all right? This is an acronym, all right? This is an acronym, and it stands for rally, okay? Now we're going to go through this and I'm going to explain to you what rally means. All right. I do see a stock market rally, but we can take this rally word and break it down into something specific and a systematic approach for you. Yes, you watching and listening. So grab a pen and a paper. All right. Grab a pencil or pen, whatever you need to grab. All right. Record the screen or watch it after this video is over. But I'm going to give you some game. Okay. Now, rally. Let me break this down with a system that I use, okay? All right, rally. The R stands for rotate. Watch sector flows, all right? Where is the big money going? All right, tech, industrials, energy, small caps, all right? That's what the R is for, rotate, all right? A, what is A? A is for analyze, all right? Don't just guess. Look at macro trends, earnings alignment, liquidity, and sentiment. Very important, all right? The A stands for analyze. Don't guess, all right? Look at macro trends, earnings alignment, liquidity, and sentiment, all right? That's your A, all right? L is for leverage, all right? Not with margin. Leverage your information edge, like this video I'm giving you, okay? Leverage that to your advantage, all right? Institutional tools, option flow, and relative strength, all right? We need volume, we need strength in order for things to work out. All right. Never forget that. All right. That is your L. All right. L is not with margin. L is for leverage. All right. Not margin. Leverage your information edge. Leverage your institutional tools, your options flow, and your relative strength. Okay. Now L, the other L, the second L is for limits. All right. Cut the noise. Stop switching tickers every day. Go deep on the plays that matter. I don't know if you ever heard this, but I'm telling you, a seasoned trader, I'm telling you, you're supposed to load your boat up at the A+ setups. That's when you go in and you go heavy on your A+ plus setups. So go deep on the plays that matter. All right. So L, the second L again, stands for limit. L is for limit. Cut the noise, stop switching tickers every day, and go deep on the plays that matter. All right. Now, Y. Last, the final letter is Y, and Y stands for yield. All right. Yield. You probably can imagine what yield means, but let me give it to you the way I see it. Not every setup is a quick win. Not every setup is a quick win. All right. Focus on the ones that give real return potential. All right. Focus on the ones that give real return potential. All right. Weeks, months, moves that build wealth. All right. The weekly and the monthly time frame, even the quarterly and the yearly. If you can find a nice setup, a nice pattern, higher highs, higher lows, bullish candles, bullish engulfing, breaking certain candles. All right. These are where your parabolic moves come from. All right. This is where your parabolic moves come from. All right. So that's what rally is. All right. And I'm going to close with that statement before I move on. All right. Again, this is the mid-year rally window. Do not miss out. All right. It's stealth. It's strategic. And it's for traders who are awake, not sleep. All right. If you're watching this, you're not retail. You're smart money in the making. You just don't know it yet. All right. So drop a comment down below if you're ready to change your trading strategy. If you're ready to change your life with this information. If you're ready to see consistency. All right. Subscribe for more. All right. Because this rally is just warming up and I prepared you for it. All right. So do me a favor again. If you're enjoying this video so far, hit that like button and subscribe. Okay, because this YouTube channel is for you. All right. Now, moving away from rally. Now that we know what rally is, okay. Don't worry, guys. I'll put that description of rally down below the description when the video is over. Now that we have the weekly time frame, all right. We have our weekly time frame bias. All right. All right. Now I'm gonna go to we're on a weekly right now. Okay. Now what I want to see. Let's go to the daily. Let's see the daily. All right, that's what I want to see, okay? Now, if you're watching this, right, there's a gap down here, okay? There's a gap. Does that gap have to be filled? No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be filled right away, all right? But there's a gap here at 600, all right, 602, all right? This is where I inform people to get into calls inside of my trade room in the Discord, all right? This is part of the tier 2 subscribers inside of my Discord, all right? That link is also below. Join a thriving community. There are real people, yes, real people like you listening, man and or woman, all right, that have joined my Discord, all right, and or taken my mentorship, and they're seeing real results from that. Real results, okay? Not because I'm a guru of some kind or I'm better than anybody, because I'm very passionate about teaching, and this is what I offer, okay? Commentary, live commentary, and stock talk, all right? And you can check back over the receipts to check behind me, okay? So right now we have a W shape, all right? We have extension off of the 21. The point of control is sitting at 606.55, all right? And so this is a place that I want to say, okay, if we get a drop, let's say we get some data next week, and we could check the data if we want to, right? Let's say we get a pullback to 605. Now, what contents would that be off of? Let's check the economic data to see what context would that be off of, okay? That's what we're going to do, okay? All right. Let's check the economic data for next week, going into the July 4th week. All right. It's going to be a special rally week coming up, I want to say. This is my sentiment. All right. Monday. We don't have a lot of big news, not red star folder news. All right. All right. Mondays could be fair game for us. We do have a member speaking, and they have been talking about rate cuts. OK, so this is the fuel. All right. Rate cuts and tariff talks. All right. Trump has already said that he's pushing the deadline. All right. Pushing the deadline. All right. So we got that sentiment from the Feds and from Trump. So now it's just the July catalyst, the summer catalyst, and the technicals. You understand? Tuesday will be more interesting. Why? Because we do have some red folder star news. All right. We have that PMI number, and that JOLTS job number is coming out. This is going to be very key, very important for the market. And this being Tuesday, I will revisit this subject on the episode 10 of Monday Madness. Episode 10 of Monday Madness. Can you guys believe we got that far? Yeah, we have. Okay. So I'm going to be going over that next week. A couple of more news, unemployment, non-farm payroll. All right. These are very important pieces that could push price as a catalyst. And I think we have a closing day, obviously on Friday, July 4th. So we have a short week coming up next week. All right. And so these are the catalysts. What I see is, all right, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing profit taken, all right, when we hit maybe 615, 620, if we can get there, right? If we can get there. But if we're already too extended, you want to wait for those pullbacks, all right? We're already showing some momentum slowing down, okay? And that data next week, all right, it could come out bad or good, all right? But if it does come out bad, just expect a pullback, all right? 608, 602, 600 and 590. All right, these just are your pullback zones. You want to watch for strength and react. All right, the thought process is this: if this happens, I do this. If this happens, I do this. All right, so if we break structure here on the 4-hour time frame, right, if we break structure, right, breaking this structure right here, simple, all right, we could possibly fall back down 611, 608. These are your first targets for puts. All right, 611, 608. All right, watch for a demand to trap in rookies trying to buy puts here. Right when we fall and create that higher low from this previous one, this is where the trap lies, where rookies try to buy puts and they automatically assume we're going to fall. The market sees that and it pushes it towards the other side. This is what I teach in my trade room. We spot these inefficiencies in the market. We spot these human behavior problems, that these errors being created, right? We make money from that, all right? So that's my take on SPY. If we can sustain higher lows, all right, and find some footing, 615 and 620 will be your next target. 625. These are the targets, all right? Like I said, this is your mid-year rally, all right? This thing could really explode, all right? We're just waiting on catalysts to get out of the way, next week's data, and we have a short week, all right? So volatility could be squeezed in, and there could be some profit taking for the celebration of next week for the 4th of July weekend, all right? Right here on the ES is looking really bullish as well. We're on a 4-hour. If this is your first time watching, the ES is an actual futures market, all right? It tells you what happens before SPY does what it does, and this is what I'm saying, all right? And so I just wanted to check that chart real quick, all right? I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed it thus far, okay? This has been a weekend edition, all right, before the 4th of July celebrations, a mid-year rally 2025. I'm your boy, Coach UV. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it valuable. I think these are one of the most important pieces of information I've gave out thus far this year, along with the recap. So you guys stick along, follow along. I'll make sure that I give you guys value in return. Okay, so hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified when I drop valuable videos, and hit that like button so that it pushes it off to the people who really want this video, okay? Again, this is the Unique Trading Group. I am Coach UV, all right? And this is where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. You guys be blessed out there and get ready for this money next week, all right? And until the next time, peace.